Hey guys, Hanif here, and welcome to my Webinar X review. Now, Webinar X is a completely cloud-hosted platform, so it kind of helps you skip some of those really high recurring fees that you might see with other webinar platforms. But to be fair and honest, there are many other Google Hangout type integrations aside from Webinar X that exist out there. So what is it that makes Webinar X unique? Well, for one, its cost is amongst the lowest of most other platforms that exist out there for Google Hangouts integration. And it has a couple of other features that also make it a little bit more appealing. So let's take a look at how it works and how you can start using it. So being a cloud hosted platform, you simply log into your members area, and then from there, you're going to have a few different tabs to work with. And the first step is going to be to set up your webinar. So you go ahead and start creating your webinar by first creating your registration page. Now, they have a bunch of different registration page templates for you to use, and you can simply customize the text and the images within that page using a WYSIWYG editor. So you can insert your text, insert your images, insert links, whatever you want, and it will be outputted according to the templates that they already have built for you. Then after that, the next step is going to be to integrate your autoresponder. And Webinar X does integrate with all of the major autoresponder services out there. But the nice thing is that you can also collect webinar registrants and then download them, get an Excel file that you can download. So you don't necessarily have to have an autoresponder, although it is highly recommended. And then you can also import your list of subscribers into Webinar X. So if you've built an email list and you want those people to be registered for your webinar, you can also upload a list of subscribers into Webinar X, which is really useful. All right, so you have your webinar registration page created, you have your autoresponder integrated, you have some people signing up for your for your webinar. The next step is going to be to send them emails and notifications, and you can do that right from inside of Webinar X. You can create a sequence of email messages that automatically go out to your webinar attendees and subscribers. So you can create an invitation email, first of all, which will go out and invite people or remind them about the webinar starting. So with the emails, again, you have the ability to use a WYSIWYG editor in which you can write text, you can bold it, you can increase the size of the text, you can insert images, you can insert links, you can compose the email exactly how you want it to. And again, the types of emails or notifications that you can send out include invitations, reminders, and then closings. So with these, you can follow up with somebody before the webinar starts. You can remind them about the webinar, and then after the webinar is done, you can send up additional follow-up emails to let them know to take advantage of your offer or to watch the webinar replay. Okay, now let's talk about some of the engagement features of Webinar X. So Webinar X creates a full webinar, a page where people come on and they start watching your webinar. On this page, on this webinar watch page, they can also ask you questions and chat with you. So here you have the ability to chat with the individuals and make your replies to them either public or private. So let's say somebody asks you a question, you can respond to that question, and you can choose whether you want it to be public or private. So it's an entire chat log that you see, and you can interact with your webinar attendees, which is obviously really powerful for engagement and closing deals at the end of your webinar presentations, because people always have questions. Answering those questions in a satisfactory way will help you close a lot more deals. And of course, on your webinar landing pages where viewers are actually watching your webinar, you can insert calls to action and push, different call to action buttons or whatever other offer you want to promote. So you can show an offer for something. You can type other types of messages. You can, have a buy now button, whatever the case may be, which of course is a huge feature for boosting conversions. Another feature, which is one of my favorites about Webinar X, is the fact that you can use pre-recorded videos. So if you don't want to use Google Hangouts, you don't have to. You can have any other source where a video is pre-recorded, and then you can actually just stream that video as your webinar while also giving the impression that you're holding a live webinar. So here's what I mean. The video that you're showing might be pre-recorded, but then you can interact and chat with your webinar attendees in real time. So that way, you can actually go ahead and prepare your video in advance, get all the kinks out of the way, correct your issues, make sure that the video presentation is really smooth, and then upload it and use it for your live webinar. But now all you're doing is chatting with the people on the side and answering their questions as if it's a live event, and it is a live event, although the video is pre-recorded. So that's really cool. That saves you the hassle of making mistakes during your webinar, which you would rather avoid. And lastly, Webinar X has a full analytics module where you can see who registered, when they registered, how long they stayed on your webinar, what kind of engagement you're getting, what kind of action people are taking, and a whole bunch of other analytics that allow you to improve your webinars over time and continue to get better and better results and make more revenue from your webinars. All right, so that's basically Webinar X in a nutshell. Now, one of the biggest drawbacks of the software is that it's not a native webinar streaming service, meaning that you still need Google Hangouts, you still need an external source for your videos, like whether it's Vimeo or it's whatever other type of video streaming service you're using. So Webinar X will not actually stream your video. It's just something that creates all of the elements surrounding the webinar, the registration, the landing page, the follow-ups, the chatting functionality, but it won't allow you to actually stream your webinars. You still need another service to do that, such as Google Hangouts, or you can use pre-recorded videos on Vimeo or whatever other source you may have your video on. Another thing is that the landing pages of Webinar X are not very customizable. Of course, you can insert your own text, your own headlines, images, links, things like that, but the layout of the pages are not very, very customizable, so that's something to keep in mind as well. All right, so with that said, now what I've done is I've created an exclusive and premium bonus package for Webinar X, and I like to call this the Webinar X Fast Profits Academy, because inside of it, I give you the exact tips, training, software tools, and even done-for-you services to help you get targeted traffic from multiple sources and to help you convert that traffic into leads and sales. Because let's face it, your webinars need attendees. And in order to get attendees, you need traffic. So without traffic, your webinars are not going to be watched by anyone. So if you scroll below this video and check out the section below this video, you'll be able to see my complete business building bonus package for Webinar X. And in it, as I mentioned, I give you the exact tips, training, software tools, and even done-for-you services to help you get targeted buyer traffic from multiple sources and to help you convert that traffic into leads and sales so you can scale your business to a higher level. So go ahead and scroll below this video to check out my complete bonus package now. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and thanks for watching.